Dark Souls 2, The Hated, The Mistake, The Imposter. For quite some time I've always wanted to make a video talking about the one game in the Souls series people are afraid to touch just because of online comments. While I can understand why people can dislike it more than the others, today I wanted to discuss why Dark Souls 2 is a hidden gem in my heart, and since it's 2024 and originality is out of the window, if you'd like more Souls content, subscribe. One last thing, I know this type of content isn't completely new, just wanted to add my grain of salt to the discussion. The second installment of the Dark Souls series has always been seen as the worst or even the worst FromSoft game in the player rankings. However, for some fans in the community, this one is seen as a much more positive light. My opinion leans towards this opinion as well, and today I wanted to discuss why Dark Souls 2 is a gem in more than one aspect in my opinion. Let's start at the beginning, Majula. Each Souls is accompanied by a hub place where the player will spend most of the time, whether it's for the blacksmith, the merchant, the mysterious well and its ladder, or the plague that reminds us how unforgivable the kingdom of Drennlake is. This kind of feature is also something we don't find in other Souls. Is it useless? Yes. Is it still a good idea? Yes. Majula presents itself in a grandiose way. The sun, the waves, the music. It's hard not to recognize how this place stands out from the other hubs in the series. Speaking only from my experience, Dark Souls 1 left its mark on the world with its interconnectivity with the map. This image shows it very well and it's clearly impressive for a 2011 game. But in terms of activities and general atmosphere, for me, Firelink Shrine remains slightly lower in my ranking. As for Dark Souls 3, once again, Firelink Shrine makes its return, this time in a interior version with a rather classic staging of the various merchants and the entire place. So for me, the least interesting hub of all FromSoft games, unfortunately, because I love Dark Souls 3 otherwise. But hey, let's get back to Majula, let's talk visuals. The calm of the waves mixed with the sky takes you into a state of calm and joy that it's difficult to explain. The art style of the game is generally brighter than the other Souls, which gives it this feeling of comfort despite the horrors that await you over time. Not being a video game artist, it's hard for me to go into more details about the game's visual, but one thing is certain, the style is striking and it transports you throughout your adventure. Then comes the music, possibly one of the best pieces of music in the entire franchise. Soft, soothing, it rests the player before he sets off on his epic journey. To me, music plays a major part in any video game, and I was charmed the first time I heard the notes of this magnificent place. I would like to say the same about the rest of the game, but just a few musical tracks have, for me, stood out. Queen of Drennlake is one of the exceptions. The sweetness and sadness of the piece represents the queen and her story well. I must say that the Looking Glass Knight track is also very interesting. Given that he's one of my favorite bosses in the game, I cannot deny the importance of music for the epic atmosphere of the fight. Hey guys, quick note, the next part will include gameplay footage from Maddie's channel. Now, if you don't know him, I easily recommend checking out his channel. He plays FromSoft games with a mix of other stuff. He obviously gave me the permission to use the footage, so thanks a lot Maddie. Now back to it. Special mention to King Vendrick, who, like the Queen, has very soft, almost soothing music despite his story being both grandiose and tragic. Let's talk about gameplay a little. One of the points often reflected in the game is the handling and slowness of the animations. It's true, even compared to its big brother, Dark Souls 1, the movements and use of objects in Dark Souls 2 can seem terribly painful for a new player. To my knowledge, it is difficult to explain this artistic choice. For a game from 2014, it's rather surprising for sure. But on the positive side, these few imperfections give a charm I find to the game. Difficult to find elsewhere, and honestly, after a few hours of playtime you get used to it. Only for the negative side to come back when it's time to face the gang squad in the DLC. For my part, Dark Souls 2 was the last of the trilogy that I played, after Dark Souls 1 and therefore having started with the third opus. I am so happy to have finished with this one. In the meantime, I had played Sekiro, which is my favorite FromSoft I think. and what a clash between the two. But that did not stop me from appreciating Dark Souls 2 for what it is. Diving back into a Dark Souls universe had done me so much good, up to a certain point. Norman's Wharf, one of the areas of the early game that at first made me take a break from the game for more than a month because of how frustrating I found it. The enemies are not that complicated, but like many areas of the game, the bonfire is at the very beginning of it, so before having opened the shortcut to the boss, the many attempts to get there are very annoying, at least in my case. But that's about all I wanted to say. I could have gone much longer and ended it on a positive note, but writing this isn't easy and I didn't want to burn myself out for a first video, sorry. I hope I managed to get across my point, my opinion, my love for this game so unique that is Dark Souls 2. And I also hope I have succeeded in my mission to do this kind of content, since it's a first for me on YouTube. So thank you for watching until the end, and I'll see you soon.